This is Optics EQ video race of the day, February 1st. We're going to go to Penn National, and excuse the voice, a little worn out from the NHC, but it was a great time. So anyway, we're going to start with scan, and what people who are new to optics plot, you get, if you buy the plot, you get three kind of utilities. One is the plot, one is grid, which is kind of the past performances, and the other is scan. And if you're new to scan, it's a really useful tool. And so what we're going to do is going to select the date, which is February 1st, and click scan. And what it does a first pass through and brings up all the races, with the exception of a few. It does initial filtering, gets kind of some of the real garbage out, and leaves you with a subset list. And what I like to do is even filter a little more. And you see these little boxes here allow you to do that. And I'm going to start with plot fit. I want to get that to be no reds in there. So you can see the numbers next to these circles. 1, 2, and 3, I'll just let you know, are red. So I'm going to do anything greater than 3. And what that does, you see, it kind of eliminates the reds. So I just got green, yellow, and dark green. And then the next thing I like to do is with the Q change, by making it know, what this does is it makes sure that the surface distance and standard filters are the same. So now I got a list that I feel comfortable with, and I can start my handicapping process. And I just go down one at a time, take a look at the plots, see if there's any opportunities. I'm really basically looking for favorites, maybe in kind of odd places in terms of the plot. And as I was going through this, I came across Penn National Race 2 tomorrow, February 1st. And as I was looking at it, the first thing that kind of jumps out at me is the number 7 is in green. And the reason he's in green is because when you initially come in here, the morning line are reflected in these different colors. So green is less than or equal to 3 to 1. So if the other way to look at this, if you want to sort, you go down to the table, sort by morning line, you'll see the shortest price is the 3. It kind of pops up there. And you can see Jamie Ness is the trainer and so forth. So, this horse will take money. But he kind of just doesn't look like he's in a great position. I like to kind of flip over to surface and distance just to see if his plot changes, and it really doesn't. So I'm kind of thinking that this is a race I potentially want to get involved with, if the 7 looks bad. So I want to dig a little bit more, and I'm going to show you how to do that with plot. Just going to go back to standard for now and take a look at this. And when I first look at the heading, I see this is a good plot fit. The contention is average. It looks maybe a little bit above average, and the speed rating is above average, so it looks high. So it looks like there's a potential for a fast pace here, and it looks like the 1, who's the need to lead type, is the fastest horse, and he's got a pretty good plot. He looks clear of the other speed, and he's got a small circle, at least in standard. His circle's a little bit bigger in surface and distance, but he looks okay. 2, I'd be looking at anything when I see higher speed ratings. I kind of want to make sure I'm looking at the squares, and the 2 looks nicely positioned. The 10 is hard to tell, but he's a small square in quadrant 2, and then a quadrant 4 square, a big one, is the 5. So those just jump out at me as horses that I might consider. And if you're confused sometimes of where the horse is, or is he a square or circle, if you go down here, you click in the horse's name. The first entry is his entry for today. So you'll see that in this case, the 1 is Q1. That means in quadrant 1 in a circle. We were a little bit confused about the 10 being a square or circle. And you can see that the 10 is actually a square in quadrant 2. Okay, so if there ever is a question, sometimes it's harder to read with some of these circles and squares because they're small or they're on a line or whatever. But generally, the number in the middle is really where the position is. It's not the square and stuff. So just pay attention to that. So, okay, so now we know that we maybe got a vulnerable favorite, and we just want to, what I'd like to do, and this is just kind of, again, a technique. We said that it looks like the speed rating is going to be high. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over to the grid, and I'm going to look at past performances a little bit differently. You see, we got a whole lot of past performances. We just dump everything in, all the lifetimes. So 382 rows displayed, but you can see how quickly I kind of reduced that. So first I want to do is I don't want to look at anything greater than a year away. So, so I'm going to go back to 2016 of January. My 382, 362, whatever went down to 173 entries. I want to look at today's distance and on today's surface, which is dirt and a route. Okay, and you can see my it's getting a little bit smaller. My filter here, I'm really filtering out races. The next thing I want to do is look at, since today's going to be a fast pace, I'm going to open up and unhide columns. These are race shape information. So I just want to unhide those so I can see what the race shapes were of previous races. And since today's going to be fast, for the 4 furlong and the 6 furlong, I want to look at everything above 0. So I want to look at a pace that's going to be a little bit faster, because it looks like that's what it's going to be. You don't ever know, but with the one in the race, it looks like that might be the case. And the other thing I want to look at is races that are fits, just like we did with when we were using scans. So I want to make sure I kind of get the reds out of there. So I want to look at everything that's greater than 3. And then obviously with the, this is the contention. I don't want any kind of blue contention. I want contention that's either yellow or red. And the way you do that is just that's greater than or equal to 4. You can go back and look at those numbers again, or just drop us a note if that's confusing. And so now what I'm trying to do is get something that's representative of not only today's surface and distance, but also today's pace as best as I can. And I hit that, and this is what happens. I filter a lot, right? So now I'm looking at a much smaller list, and what I like to do here now is kind of sort this by speed figure and see who jumps to the top. And you can see the 2 and the 1, 5, a little bit to 10, and I think the 4 is kind of on the cusp. But again, the 7 kind of drops out a little bit. So there you have it. You got a couple of alternatives to the favorite, and what we feel good about is that today's projected or potential pace scenario they probably could handle. So the 1, 2, 5, and 10, we kind of would look at the board and look at the potential for some exotics and so forth. But they all look capable, and they look like they're fast enough to get the job done. So that's it. That's February 1st, Penn National, and it's race 2. Good luck, everyone.